Now, this story is about two boxing mavericks. It's a tale about overcoming the odds, not just in one fight, but in life. Spencer Fearon has been in the boxing business, man and boy, as an amateur, as a pro, as a trainer, as a promoter, and more importantly, as a spokesman. Doesn't get paid for that, he just does it. And Darren Hamilton has forced his way into contention from, well, quite literally the streets, the hard way. That's the only way to put it. Last Saturday, somebody's bad luck meant that Darren got a late call to fight for the British title. He was a massive underdog. Well, what do the experts know, as they say in the trade? It's a delight and a pleasure to welcome both Spencer, Darren and one or two others. So if you hear certain other voices during this interview, don't panic. It's not become a kindergarten in here, but we've got a few people floating around. We don't mind. We're not shy, as they say in the trade. First of all, Spencer, welcome. Darren, I'm going to stick with you. I'm going to start with you. Darren, you took the fight against Theophane for the British Light-Welterweight title at a few days' notice, but when you actually accepted it, you were, well, in bed with flu. So you're one. You're not making excuses. You're just telling the truth.
Telling the truth, yeah.
So what happened? You got the phone call?
Got a phone call. I think I got a phone call right just after I did a session, and I was in the gym, and I was coming down with flu at the time.
You could feel it in you could feel it in your body, yeah.
Beginning of what was the beginning of a flu, and I just, I heard, as soon as I heard that I had the opportunity, I just said yep straight away. Didn't contemplate.
And weight was no problem with weight because you'd boxed a few days, like 12 days earlier or whatever. Spencer's laughing there, so there was a slight issue with weight. There was a
slight issue with weight,
but not massive. You had to lose a little bit.
6 pounds.
Okay, did you?
Yeah.
I said, and I'm assuming that was. I'm going to bring you in here, Spence. That was obviously a bit more of an issue than Darren's maybe saying. You had to lose the weight on the way to Manchester. Like skipping on the train.
Listen. It was crazy. I want to take the time out to thank the hotel that let us use their gymnasium when we had 45 minutes to get on a train. We missed the train.
You missed the way and you missed the flight.
Right, exactly. So me, Harry Andrews, were running around Houston trying to find a gymnasium. So we found a hotel. They said, yep, and there's a steam room in there as well.
So that was it.
And we had to go in there. It was like mad. In the morning of the fight, we woke up. He was a few pounds overweight. Thought, oh, don't worry, we're gonna take him running. Yeah, I mean, I haven't run since I've been retired. I've been retired in nearly 9 years. I had to go running. Yeah, I mean, so I'm on the road running with him. I mean, thinking right, that will help. Yeah, I mean, I'm running, trying to motivate the guy as well.
But at this stage, also the flu's now coming out.
Yeah.
So the flu, which you could feel 4 or 5 days earlier, is now bouncing out. You're basically, you've got to be, you're flu drained. Going into a fight where you can't even get odds on you winning.
That's very true, very true. And what was more difficult as well, what made it more difficult for me to lose the weight is that because I felt so drained, I couldn't do the run. Couldn't push anyway, no. And and I still, when I got back to Spencer's house, I still had another 4 pounds to lose. So he said, right, go out and have a 25-minute skip. And I was doing it, and as I was doing the skip, I was like, I just haven't got anything left.
So were you close to then pulling out, having been offered it at the last minute? Yeah. Did you think telling the truth, we're all geniuses now. Yeah. Right then, what was going through your head, Dan?
I was thinking to myself, oh my God, like I think I'm gonna have to pull out then if I'm feeling like this. I was actually really contemplating pulling out. I said, I'm sick. I'm as sick as a dog.
But did you also know, and obviously Spencer knows him better than you, Theophane, did you also know that you could beat him?
Yeah, I've always known. We've always, that's the secret that we've always had between us. At the club, me, Spencer, and Harry, we always knew I could beat Ashley. So beating him wasn't a problem.
So it was just one of those things. You knew that if you could get in the ring with him, if you could actually get in there and have enough left, you knew you could pull off, which was a massive shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you did it. At the end of the day, you did it fairly comfortably.
Yeah.
Did you? What made you so confident then, Spence? I know you've sort of seen Ashley around, but I mean, he's a good seasoned pro, man. You let him find his rhythm. He's hard.
But Ashley Fearon is a superb boxer. I know Ashley very well, and I love the guy. I ain't got nothing bad to say or derogatory about him, but I just know like Darren's style. Darren watches through me. You got to study old-time fighters. So you're watching Joe Gans a lot. I forced him to watch a lot of Mike McCallum. I forced him to watch a lot of Michael Spinks because of how he fights. Very awkward. Sure. So you got to look at these guys and incorporate with that. Rodriguez as well. That's Darren Hamilton. So you get all these guys and you put them into one basket, then you're going to get Darren Hamilton. And I don't care who the guy is because by his record, it doesn't look like he's a concussive hitter, but he hits hard enough to make guys not want to fight. 3 weeks before the fight, we beat John Watson.
Yeah,
we took that on late notice.
Yeah, good win.
That was excellent.
Yeah, great.
I mean, and fair play to Johnny Wish because Johnny Wish said, you know what, Spence, you get a British title shot off of this, and like. So said, so done. Somebody pulled out when we was on the train. Frank Maloney gave us a phone call and said, Spence, would Darren like to fight Adil Anwar for the English title? And I said, nah, because he's due to fight on my show. And, you know, fair play to Frank Maloney, because a lot of guys could have been bitter about that.
Sure.
And Frank Maloney said the opportunity's coming. Phoned me out and said, Spencer, do you want to fight for the British title against Ashley Fearon? And I was like, listen, man, we're grabbing that. I phoned Harry. I said, Harry, listen, British title's come up. I said, I don't even care about it. Right, I said, I don't even care about the money.
Because if you're not, listen, I know that's the absolute truth, but if you'd have missed that window, I mean, let's not mince that word. You could have been waiting 18 months. In fact, you may not, if not longer.
If not longer.
It's gone.
Right,
2 years, 3 years.
Right, exactly. If not longer, and it's come, and I'm just grateful that it came at a time where I needed something big for our next one of my fighters now, because Troy's doing what he's doing, and I needed one of my fighters now to come and like hold up the banner a lot.
It's called coming through. You need someone else to come through. And it's not good having a gym full of all these wannabe champions. You need to have guys that are winning titles, which is what you've got done there. But it's been a tough old, I alluded to it in the start, it's been a tough old road for you, Darren. I mean, you turned pro, you're from the West Country originally from Bristol. You turned pro down there, you had a bit of time off, you ended up in London, in and around John Rooney's gym. And at that point, that was a low point in your life, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, how tough was it at that point for you?
Basically, it was when I first came to London. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I was staying with people, living with them, and obviously that time ran out. So it came to a stage where I didn't have anywhere to go, nowhere to live, and John was the only place where I could, only.
So you was good as homeless.
Homeless. I was actually homeless. Yeah, registered homeless. And I just said, John, what can you help me out? And John put me up, and I stayed.
How long ago was that? How many years ago was that? So from being like actually homeless,
it was like 3 years ago.
So from 3 years ago being homeless, you're now a British champion.
Yeah,
and you're a personal trainer. You've taken your, you've qualified as a personal trainer.
I'm a qualified level 3 personal trainer, and I've got a level 2 as well. And that's what I originally came to London to pursue. I just wanted to be a personal trainer. I didn't want to box again, and.
So when you came down here, obviously change your scenery, be around different people, hopefully better influences. But you didn't want. By that stage, you'd said, listen, I'm turning my back on the box. You're not making any money. Peanuts. Peanuts. And the industry, the fitness industry was booming. So I thought, this is what I want to be. I want to be a personal trainer. And then and that's why I came to John. I came to John and said to him, if he could help me with my level 3 qualification and start from there. And then it went from there. And he put me up and gave me a job, and then made me sign a 3-year contract. On the condition of me, doing the personal training, and I did it. So there we are, 3 years on.
3 years on.
3 years on, British champions.
It's crazy, right?
It's a decent story. I mean, it's an amazing thing, boxing, Spencer. You know this, is that you find one good story and you think that's a great one, and then a week later or a month later or 2 months later you find another one, you think that's a good one. It's just a never-ending merry-go-round of stories.
Listen, it was like I could see in somebody's face that when they want to pull out or when they want to not fight. And I remember like when he came to me and like it was Ben Dougherty that brought him to me and said, Spence, I got this kid, can you manage him? And the first time I saw Darren spar, what did I say to you, Darren?
I could win titles.
Right. I said, listen, the minimum you can win is a British title. And people thought he was joking. And since then, look at his record. He beat Pete McDonald where he stopped him, and that was on an excellent show where Boxing News named my show. If Carl made boxing shows, they'd be mine. Yeah. He beats Dave Ryan for the Masters title, and then he goes and beats John Watson. And then after that, 2.5 weeks after that, we get a phone call to fight for the British title. So I said, what, we're not going to take this? I said, we take this. This is God's plan, man. So, whatever comes, I'm going to take good and bad in life. But I know on this, if something like this comes, especially when I saw Ashley, he kind of struggled against Bern Murphy. Because he wasn't motivated.
His head wasn't there.
Right, his head wasn't there.
So what? That's his fault, not yours.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, right, let your head not be there in this fight.
For this one as well,
I know, like, what the connoisseur be looking for in boxing. So, we look for popping jabs. He was throwing so many jabs. I don't know how many jabs he threw in the first. So I looked on the statistics on Sky Sports, and I was saying, well, how come they were so close? Because they were like level on their punch stats. I didn't understand it, but maybe someone's finger weren't working the button properly.
Maybe only looking at one fight. Like I said, I'm going to leave you there, Spence. But Darren, forget Spencer's here. What do you want to do next 6 months? In an ideal world, Darren.
In the next 6 months, I want to defend my title as many times as I can defend it inside that 6 months. And obviously make as much money as I can possible.
Good boy, that's the correct answer, man. That's the answer I want from all fighters, okay? Glory's great. Belts are brilliant, okay? Fame's terrific. It's pound notes we like.
That's it.
Spencer Fearon, Darren Hamilton, the brand new British light welterweight champion. It's been a delight and a pleasure having you on the show today. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
So that's it.